Although talking about legal compliance is not the most interesting thing, the alternative to not doing it correctly is getting fined or sued. So this is kind of pretty important. And while I am not a lawyer, nor is this legal advice, let's talk about common legal issues with newsletters and how to avoid the biggest mistakes. I will try to make this fun, but even if it's not, I assure you, getting sued would be way less fun. So let's try to avoid that with this lesson. So this is fancy Latin for not knowing isn't an excuse. Just like telling a police officer you didn't know you were speeding, not knowing how to email or not knowing how email marketing works will get you in trouble if you break the rules, even if you don't know them. You've got to properly collect, manage, and contact your audience at all times. The first thing that I want to talk about is asking first. So you have to ask for permission explicitly to get emails from your newsletter, typically in the form of a sign-up form on your website that people have to fill in themselves. So you have to be explicit as well in your sign-up form. Don't say things like, subscribe to get my weekly email, and then you email them daily. That's not how explicit consent should work. You can't just add people to your mailing list that you know or that are contacts in your email software, or you can't just add people whose newsletter you're on. And I know this happens because people add me to their newsletter all the time just because they're on my newsletter. Doesn't work that way. You also can't buy audiences either. You're going to get kicked off of Mailchimp if you do that. But I will also note that implied consent can mean that they've bought something from you. So if somebody's bought something from you, you can send them emails about that thing that they purchased. So the next thing is that you always need to give them an out. So there has to be a clear and easy unsubscribe link somewhere in your email, in every email you ever send. And double opt-in means that if they didn't click the confirm email, they're not on your list. Next, you need to tell them who you are. So have your name, your email, and physical address visible in every email or the from information. And this is where PO boxes are great, so subscribers don't know your home address. So you also cannot fake sender information. Some countries require that you give your full company name and business registration too. So it has to be valid company information. So if I'm Chimp and I'm sending you an email, I can't say I'm sending you an email from the company called Mailchimp because I'm not that company. I'm a company called Chimp. Next, you always have to be honest. So you cannot use misleading subject lines or pre-header text. You have to keep it relevant and not spammy sounding. So you can't do things like email your entire mailing list with the subject line, "You're a winner." If not everybody is a winner, you would only be able to send that email to somebody who was the actual winner. So I know everybody in this course is going to be honest, but I just need to reiterate this because it is actually the law. So finally, it's a good idea to maintain cleanliness. So keep your list clean and remove folks who don't ever open, and make sure that everybody on your list is there because they wanted to be there. So give them a way to unsubscribe. And there's actually a lesson in this course on how to remove people who don't ever open or who don't ever click or who don't ever engage with your emails, because it's probably a good idea to remove them, because why pay for somebody who doesn't want to be there? So to summarize, you always have to ask, and people have to express consent for being on your list, typically through a sign-up form. You always have to give them an out, an unsubscribe link in every email. You have to tell them who you are with your mailing address and sometimes your company and registration number. You always have to be honest, so never use misleading subject lines. And maintain cleanliness, so remove the people who don't want to be on your list anymore instantly. So let's look at what needs to be present in every email, typically in the footer. So you always need an address, like a PO box. You always need an unsubscribe link. So if you give them a reason why they're being emailed, so in every email, there should be something valuable that you're sharing with them. And then finally, you should always tell them who you are and where they signed up. So who you are is in the from information, so your name and or your company name, add an email address from the website they signed up on, and then give them, even if it's just a single line in the footer, you're receiving this email because you signed up on chimparoo.com, for example. So that's it. We got through this together. Thank you so much for watching.